Leonardo da Vinci's life was driven by one unstoppable force: curiosity. He once wrote, "Learning never exhausts the mind." For Leonardo, the act of learning was not work, it was joy. While others studied one subject, he studied everything: the flight of birds, the flow of rivers, the anatomy of the human body, the way light touches a face. Curiosity made him dissect corpses in secret, sketch machines that wouldn't exist for centuries, and fill thousands of pages with notes written in mirror script. Leonardo believed that true genius was not about knowing the answers, but about asking better questions. Every page of his notebooks begins not with conclusions, but with questions. Why is the sky blue? How does the heart pump blood? Can a man build wings to fly? His curiosity had no boundaries. For him, curiosity wasn't simply a trait, it was a way of living, a fire that fueled invention, art, and discovery. Leonardo teaches us that the mind never grows tired from learning. It only tires when it stops seeking.
Leonardo da Vinci understood something that even modern innovators sometimes forget. The greatest beauty lies in simplicity. He said, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication." In his art, this meant removing distractions, blending colors softly, and creating a depth of expression that made the Mona Lisa smile feel eternal. In his engineering, it meant designing machines with elegant precision, where every line served a purpose. For Leonardo, complexity was not a sign of intelligence. Clarity was. He knew that nature itself worked in simple patterns: the spiral of a seashell, the flow of water, the symmetry of a flower. To master simplicity required genius. It meant understanding something so completely that you could reduce it to its purest form. Leonardo's wisdom reminds us, true brilliance isn't about adding more, it's about removing what's unnecessary until only truth remains.
Leonardo da Vinci believed that all knowledge begins with the senses. He wrote, "All our knowledge has its origins in our perceptions." To Leonardo, the eyes were the gateway to truth. He filled page after page with sketches, not because he wanted to create art alone, but because drawing forced him to see more deeply. He would stare at ripples in water for hours, sketch the flight of birds, and record the tiniest details of plants, muscles, and faces. For him, observation was not passive, it was an act of discovery. He distrusted those who relied only on books or authority. He believed truth was written in nature itself, waiting for those who could truly look. He once warned, "The eye, which is called the window of the soul, is the principal means by which the central sense can most completely and abundantly appreciate the infinite works of nature." His lesson is clear. To see reality as it is, we must first learn how to look.
Leonardo da Vinci valued ideas, but he warned against letting them remain only as dreams. He wrote, "I have been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is not enough. We must do." For Leonardo, time was precious. He hated idleness and believed that knowledge without action was wasted potential. His notebooks are filled not just with sketches, but with experiments, calculations, and practical designs, proof that his curiosity always led to action. He saw time as a river, flowing endlessly forward. To delay was to lose it forever. That's why he urged his students and readers to move quickly from thought to creation. Leonardo's wisdom teaches us that genius is not in what you think, but in what you bring to life.
Leonardo da Vinci believed ignorance was the greatest danger to human progress. He wrote, "He who thinks little errs much," and "The greatest deception men suffer is from their own opinions." Leonardo knew that arrogance blinds people. Those who cling to their own shallow beliefs close the door to discovery. He often criticized scholars who quoted ancient authorities, but never tested ideas themselves. For him, wisdom required humility, the willingness to admit what you don't know. Only then could the mind open itself to truth. Leonardo's notebooks reveal a man constantly questioning, doubting, and correcting himself. He wasn't afraid of being wrong because he understood that error was the path to knowledge. His lesson is timeless. The ignorant man thinks he knows everything. The wise man knows he knows nothing.
To Leonardo, nature was the ultimate teacher. He once said, "Nature is the source of all true knowledge. She has her own logic, her own laws. She has no effect without cause, nor invention without necessity." He studied rivers, plants, the flight of birds, the motion of water, and even the flow of blood in the human body. For him, every answer was hidden in the patterns of nature. Leonardo wrote, "Human ingenuity will never devise an invention more beautiful, more simple, or more direct than does nature." This belief guided all his art and inventions. The beauty of the Vitruvian Man, the mystery of the Mona Lisa, and the designs of his flying machines all were rooted in careful observation of the natural world. His wisdom reminds us, look to nature, and you will find truth.
Leonardo believed that true genius lay not in complexity, but in clarity. He famously said, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication." For him, the greatest works of art, science, and invention were those stripped of excess, leaving only pure elegance. When sketching machines, he aimed for designs that mirrored the effortless perfection of nature. When painting, he sought harmony so subtle it looked inevitable. Leonardo's message was timeless. To master a subject, remove the unnecessary until only truth remains. Leonardo's mind was driven by an endless hunger to know. He once wrote, "I have been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is not enough. We must do." He filled thousands of pages with sketches of machines, anatomy, stars, and rivers. Questions piled on questions. Leonardo saw curiosity not as idle wonder, but as the fuel of progress. For him, to stop questioning was to stop living.
Leonardo believed that nature was the greatest teacher. He wrote, "Nature is the source of all true knowledge. She has her own logic, her own laws. She has no effect without cause, nor invention without necessity." From the spirals of shells, to the flow of water, to the flight of birds, Leonardo studied the patterns of life and used them as blueprints for invention. To him, observing nature was a form of worship. He insisted that by understanding her secrets, humans could uncover the deepest truths of the universe.
Leonardo valued clarity above all. He once wrote, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication." For him, beauty and genius did not lie in complexity, but in the elegance of simple solutions. His machines, though visionary, were drawn with graceful precision. His art, balanced and harmonious, reflected this principle. Leonardo's wisdom reminds us that true mastery is not in adding more, but in stripping away the unnecessary until only perfection remains.
Leonardo da Vinci's mind reached centuries beyond his time. He declared, "Once you have tasted flight, you will forever walk the earth with your eyes turned skyward." Though the machines he sketched could not yet fly, his vision foretold the airplane, the helicopter, even the parachute. Leonardo believed imagination was the seed of the future, that what the mind can conceive, reality could one day achieve. His words remind us, every invention begins first as a dream.
Leonardo da Vinci left behind more than art and inventions. He left riddles. He wrote in mirror script, backward letters readable only with a mirror. Was it protection or a way of hiding knowledge from unready eyes? In The Last Supper, scholars see hidden codes, the missing chalice, the strange hand with a knife, the geometry of 12 and 1. In Mona Lisa, subtle symbols and layers of paint conceal mysteries that still baffle experts today. Leonardo's notebooks contain sketches of flying machines, tanks, diving suits, solar mirrors, visions far ahead of his century. Some say he deliberately introduced flaws so warlords could not use his inventions for destruction. Even his death is wrapped in uncertainty. Legends tell of him dying in the arms of King Francis I, but his true resting place is lost. Perhaps the greatest mystery of Leonardo is this: did he know more than he revealed? Did he encode the wisdom of the universe into art and numbers, leaving us puzzles to solve centuries later? Leonardo once wrote, "Iron rusts from disuse. Water loses its purity from stagnation. So does inaction sap the vigor of the mind." Maybe that is his final message: to never stop questioning, never stop seeking, because the secrets of the universe are written everywhere, waiting for us to look.
Among Leonardo's thousands of pages of notes, there are gaps, missing manuscripts, torn-out pages, codices scattered across private collections. Some believe these lost works held discoveries too dangerous for his time. He once hinted, "I leave notes on certain things not for public knowledge, lest the evil-minded misuse them." In his sketches, there are fragments of strange machines, devices resembling perpetual motion engines, cryptic diagrams mixing geometry with mystical symbols. Were they experiments in pure science, or an attempt to touch something sacred? Rumors claim Leonardo studied alchemy, secret brotherhoods, and the hidden mathematics of the cosmos. His obsession with proportions, the golden ratio, and the harmony of the human body, the Vitruvian Man, suggests he was searching for a universal key, a link between man, nature, and the divine. Some say his coded notes contained blueprints for inventions humanity has not yet fully realized. Others whisper that he hid truths intentionally, waiting for a future generation to be ready. Leonardo once wrote, "I know that many will say this is impossible, but time will show that it was possible and not beyond man's reach." Perhaps his greatest secret was this: he believed imagination itself is a form of prophecy, an echo of the future, arriving early in the mind of a genius.
Throughout history, Leonardo's writings were scattered. Today, we have about 7,000 surviving pages, but historians estimate he wrote over 28,000. The rest are missing. One of the most mysterious is the Codex Madrid, discovered only in 1965 in Spain, forgotten in a library for centuries. It contained mechanical secrets, gear systems, automata, and devices so advanced they looked like 19th century engineering. But whispers persist of another missing volume, a codex that vanished from Napoleon's collection, rumored to contain Leonardo's studies on energy, optics, and perhaps even perpetual motion. Some conspiracy theories claim fragments of this knowledge influenced secret societies and modern technology. What is certain is Leonardo himself hinted at withholding knowledge deliberately. He wrote in code, hid drawings in layers of sketches, and sometimes wrote misleading notes, perhaps to protect dangerous discoveries. The question remains, what was in the pages we lost? Weapons? Machines? A vision of the future centuries before its time? Leonardo's silence on those missing works may be his greatest enigma.
In 1495, at a celebration hosted by the Duke of Milan, Leonardo unveiled something extraordinary, a mechanical knight. According to his surviving sketches, this automaton could sit up, move its arms, turn its head, and even open and close its jaw. Hidden inside were a system of pulleys, gears, and cables, centuries ahead of clockwork engineering. Witnesses described the knight as lifelike, moving with uncanny precision. But after Leonardo's death, the design vanished into obscurity, dismissed as legend. It wasn't until the late 20th century that robotics experts reconstructed the machine from Leonardo's notes and discovered it worked exactly as he imagined. This forgotten invention shows Leonardo was not only dreaming of the future, he was building it. Some even speculate this knight was just one prototype of greater machines he never dared to reveal. Leonardo once wrote, "The human foot is a masterpiece of engineering and a work of art." Perhaps in his mechanical knight, he tried to recreate that masterpiece with gears and steel.
In 1505, Leonardo began what some call his greatest masterpiece, the Battle of Anghiari. Commissioned for the Palazzo Vecchio in Florence, it depicted a chaotic clash of soldiers and horses, frozen in violent intensity. Witnesses claimed it was so vivid it seemed alive. Artists like Rubens later copied parts of it, calling it the most powerful work Leonardo ever created. But then, it vanished. Leonardo experimented with a new technique, using heat to dry pigments on the wall, but it failed. Paint dripped, colors blurred, and the work was abandoned. Later, Vasari, another artist, renovated the hall. The painting was lost, covered, destroyed, or perhaps hidden beneath layers of plaster. In the 21st century, researchers scanned the walls of the Palazzo Vecchio and found traces of pigment behind Vasari's fresco, pigment matching Leonardo's palette. Was the masterpiece preserved in secret? If so, one of Leonardo's greatest works may still lie buried within the walls of Florence, waiting for rediscovery. Leonardo himself once said, "Art is never finished, only abandoned." Maybe the Battle of Anghiari was not abandoned after all, just hidden, a ghost painting beneath stone.
In the quiet of night, under flickering candlelight, Leonardo da Vinci performed dissections, first on animals, then on human corpses. This was forbidden by the Church, punishable as desecration. But Leonardo's hunger for truth was stronger than fear. Over 20 years, he dissected at least 30 human bodies, including the elderly, children, and even pregnant women. He recorded everything with meticulous precision: muscles, bones, organs, blood vessels, and the human brain. His drawings of the heart's chambers, the fetus in the womb, and the human skeleton were centuries ahead of their time. Some of his findings were so accurate that modern surgeons still marvel at them today. Yet many of his anatomy studies were hidden after his death, some suppressed by the church, others scattered and lost. What he created was not just art, it was the first true atlas of the human body. But Leonardo saw more than flesh. He wrote, "The human body is the image of the world." To him, dissecting a man was like dissecting the universe itself.